Heard you were making another storytime video. You got some big nuts for a person who hides behind a cartoon.
Come on, isn't it all possible that I'm just passionate about the subject?
No!
Where am I? Why do I have the sudden urge to self-deprecate? The hate I have for each one of my older videos is usually something that happens gradually over time. The storytime video though, well, even after a week of having that out, I'd rewatch it and think, what? That makes no sense, who the fuck writes this shit? Oh. In short, that video was rushed, and I regret not spending more time on it because some of my points were really stupid. And I have a few more things to add and points to explain further, so let's just get straight into it. I don't need to explain what an animated storytime video is, you all know at this point. But for those of you who don't know, it's basically a video genre where the speaker tells stories about themselves and are vaguely animated for appeal. First, I do not hate storytime animators, never once did I say it in the original video yet that's how it was perceived, when in reality it's quite the contrary. I'm subscribed to tons of these people. So, okay, I'm subscribed to 5 of them, and only like 3 of them was because I felt obligated to. Moving on, this is just a few problems that I have with the community. I'll repeat, problems that I have with the community. If you don't care about this stuff, then that's perfectly fine, but I'm not going to ignore issues like these just because they're following their dreams. I do not care if you don't animate. However, if you don't animate yet still call yourself an animator, then it becomes a problem. And like I said in the last video, this is not animation. But the illusion of movement, Mark! Yeah, but there's no illusion here. It's just a collection of still images with 5-second breaks between them. They're more like animatics than animations. Wait, no, they're not animatics! And if you're an animator and use this excuse, then you don't know what you're talking about. While yes, they're much closer to being animatics than animations, animatics are just a rough draft of what the animation will look like when it's finished. However, once they post their video, it is finished. It also doesn't help that some only use animations selectively. Some have the narration bits animated and the actual story parts as stills, or vice versa, which makes it look like you didn't bother animating the rest of your video.
Mark, before you embarrass yourself any further, I think you should know something. You don't animate either.
Yeah, nor did I say I did. I'd honestly be pretty ashamed if people were using my character stills as an example of animation. I'm just a base with faces on it. I can't even move. What the f? I'm gonna be using some examples of storytime channels throughout this video, but just because I show them doesn't mean their channel is bad. Unless I state otherwise. Looker something is an example of animating in the laziest way. There's barely any animation, and the most he does is lip syncing. Occasionally. See this, where his hand just magically jumps from one place to another? It's something that I see most of them do, and if you really couldn't be bothered to actually animate it, just use smears. A simple smear is a good way to animate with little effort. I'll show you. I've taken a segment from Luke's crazy bike camp video, and I've added some smears to the movements.
Alright, we're here.
Hey, this isn't the right beach. We aren't even in our town.
Oops. Alright, we're here.
Hey, this isn't the right beach. We aren't even in our town.
Oops.
See? Does it look amazing? No. But it's better than not animating at all. He's only 13, Luke's still learning. I don't give bonus points to someone for their age. Luke could be 10, Luke could be 100, and his flaws would be just as apparent. I mean, Chili Panda is 23 years old, and Luke's art looks way better than hers. I could forgive it if there was an attempt, but there is none. His newest video, at the time of writing this, is the absolute epitome of laziness. Look at those bikes just slide across the ground. Wanna maybe animate them pedaling? No? Alright. That's another thing I see done a lot. Don't want to put the time into animating your animation video? Just slide PNGs across the screen, no one will notice. But I did. Look, if you're watching this, I don't think you're one of the worst in the community. In fact, your videos are alright outside of the animation bit. It's just, come on, do a little more please.
What would someone who makes these animatics call themselves? Animatikers? Cartoonists? Comic YouTubers?
Someone who draws but doesn't animate. Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is an illustrator. You're storytime illustrators, and there's nothing wrong calling yourself that. Here's a little subsection I like to call How to Animate If You Have Very Little Knowledge on Animation Yet Still Want People to Think You're an Animator. .com. Don't lip sync. That's too hard, apparently. Just open the mouth when you're talking and close it when you're silent. Bada bing. Animation. Animating movement is hard. To avoid learning things, just have PNGs slide across the screen. Everyone does this, and no one really cares. Skew the image between keyframes to make it look like you bothered to do in-betweens. Skewing doesn't always work, but it beats learning new ways to animate, am I right? For your narration bits, just have a still image of your character with hands going off screen and have them pop up from the bottom. This will make your character look like they have noodle arms though. Is there any reason? I don't know, moving on. Lastly, colouring takes time, so don't even bother. I mean, if you can't be bothered to colour a background, what business you got colouring a character? Awful. You don't even have to download an animation program to make an animation. You know how I know this? I made the entire intro to this video bar the lip sync without touching animation software to show you don't need to be a master animator to make something look halfway decent. And look, I get it. The algorithm and sorts don't favour animated videos considering animation takes a lot of time. I'm at no point saying that animation is easy, but again, just don't call yourself an animator if you follow any of these rules. But then there's the other side of the spectrum, when you have people with videos that have great, amazing animation, yet get no recognition. I don't know, it's just I see stuff like this, and can't help but think that it's devaluing the people that pour a bunch of time and effort into a proper animation. I mean, what's the point in trying if a video about how you once worked at a fast food restaurant can get millions of views? And if you don't know how to animate, you could always just pay people to do it for you. One major example is the Fear Raiser, whom instead of learning art himself, decided to pay people to make his own storytime videos. On the other hand, The Odd Ones Out has a team of people helping him colour, make backgrounds for him, and sometimes animate. Now the difference between him and someone like Jaden is the fact that he took the time to teach his workers to draw in his art style, as opposed to Jaden where you can clearly tell who animated what. Come on Jaden, you're paying good money, at least tell him to stay on model.
Did you know the creator of Garfield, Jim Davis, is 70 freaking years old? And he's still making Garfield? Oh, he has co-artists and he doesn't even draw them anymore. Well, I just lost a bit of respect for my hero.
Wait, James, does that mean you lost respect for Jaden? And yourself? Once again, I've split this up into subsections to avoid it being a mess. A good character design can help you stand out in the crowd, but from what I've seen, many of them prefer to blend in. The most common one I see is thin outlines, a lanky body, and oval beady eyes. I've seen some pretty bad excuses of people defending their character designs.
I've been called a Jaden Animations copycat, but I wear a hoodie, she doesn't.
I don't think this kid is a rip-off of Jaden, but his jacket isn't the reason why. But ultimately, a lackluster design isn't the end of the world. This only really annoys me when I see someone downgrade their character design. For example, Rebecca degraded her art style in order to fit with the other animators. I mean, how would her professor feel if he saw what she was up to today? He'd take her degree back. Also, despite the blandos, I have seen a lot of creative and unique avatars, and I'm glad those channels are getting the recognition they deserve. Names. Make them more unique. Let's play a game. I'm going to describe a Storytime animator's personality to you, and you have to guess who it is. They are very random and quirky, but at the same time are an introvert and is very anxious. If you guessed all of them, then you'd be correct. And oversimplifying the genre, as I know there are a few not like this, I was just joking for hyperbole. Most Storytime animators have the exact same personality, being a quirky, extroverted introvert? Oh wait, there's a word for that. Ambivert. It's conflicting. They give off the impression that they have a bubbly personality and love to be around others, but at the same time try to convince people that they're actually very #awkward and don't know how to interact with people. The reason I think they try to give off the impression they're awkward is because 1, it'll be more relatable to the audience, and 2, it makes for funny, true, awkward moments, which also makes for a good thumbnail and title. I understand that most of these channels are run by kids, meaning that most of their experience will revolve around school because they're in it 80% of their waking life. However, that doesn't excuse the constant barrage of said videos. If you see someone making a topic about something you've already experienced, maybe talk about something else. This helps you to avoid looking like a copycat. In the end, I'm fine with someone being similar to another channel when this starts so they can get their footing, but if you don't start to evolve, your channel won't go anywhere. Well, I mean, you will go somewhere, but not evolving just makes you look lazy. Speaking of evolution, I don't get how a channel devolves unless the answer is just from pure laziness on their part. I've seen a bunch of these channels make somewhat decent stuff up until they get to a point where they can just say, I've built my audience, I don't have to put in as much effort now, and they'd still watch. Spetchy is a good example of this, where in recent times after she passed 100k, her quality went down from line art to vaguely finished sketches, and in her current boyfriend server she talks about acknowledging criticism, yet deciding not to improve. But again, this isn't directed towards all the channels. I've seen some like The Amazing, how do you pronounce that? Never mind, I don't care. Start to lip sync and try to make his videos more visually pleasing, and I hope to see his content further improve. I was initially going to shit on Chili Panda, but I'd actually like to give some props to her. She took the time to improve her art and tried to make it look better. Would I say it looks good? I wouldn't go that far. But I see something from her that I don't see in a lot of these channels. That being an honest-to-God attempt to try and evolve. So Chili Panda, you did good. I started watching Tim Tom's video about driving and thought, wow, this is a major improvement, this looks really good. But then I looked at the description. Oh. Well, I hope whoever animates his videos takes the time to improve. Yay. My opinion hasn't changed much on this since the last video, so here's all I'll say. Most oftentimes when a creator puts feat YouTuber in a video, they usually say one line or two. I think Spetchy says it best, saying, building your own subscriber base over time pays off more than getting shoutouts from big YouTubers. You aren't getting fans loyal to you, you're getting fans loyal to them. Shoutouts are quick to build clout and cash, but it's short term. It's weird to see Spetchy giving good advice, but hey. The storytime animation community is hands down one of the worst communities I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if it's because most of them are children, but that's what I'm going to assume. They take any piece of criticism as a personal attack on their favourite YouTuber, and look, I get it. It's not nice to see one of your favourite YouTubers get criticised, but they need to understand that there's a clear difference between blind hate and constructive criticism. But it's not just the fans not listening to the criticism, it's the YouTubers too. Potential is a word I see thrown around a lot, but in all honesty, potential means nothing. Everybody has potential. The only thing that matters is whether or not you try to reach that potential to the fullest of your ability. There's a lot of talented artists in this community, however, if you don't work to improve yourself and get better at your craft, are you truly an artist? Welcome back to Endcard. I didn't know if I wanted to use my actual outro or just parody the way they do theirs. Sorry this video took so long to get out. I got a new microphone, which I don't know if you noticed the difference. This took for fucking ever to get here, and I've been working on this video for about over a month of just on and off work, and it's just, the next video probably won't take as long to get out, I'll just tell you that right now. But thanks for being patient with me, I guess. Thanks to the odd ones out, who is the guy, and for doing lines. They really didn't have to do that. I appreciate them giving me lines for a video that, you know, doesn't talk in the nicest way about the community that they're in, but, you know, just shows they're willing to take criticism, and I'm glad to see that. But yeah, always remember to say your funny catchphrase.